He was humiliated by the girl he loved. 2 years later, he did something terrible to get revenge. You will never imagine what he did. He stood there, hopeful, naive, holding out his heart for a girl who never cared.
Did you really think I invited you here because I liked you?
And in that moment, Ethan Carter became the biggest joke of the night. She had spent months waiting for this moment. The grand entrance, the envious stares, the perfect date, and there he was, her dream standing right before her. If only she knew, her fairy tale was about to become her worst nightmare.
Take off your hood, Noah.
Oh my God!
But in the blink of an eye, Bella Johnson became the punchline of her own story. And just like that, everything went black. In one night, she lost everything. She had everything, and lost it all. Some wounds never heal, and some losses are forever.
Karma has a way of teaching lessons.
And now she stood there, watching him walk away. Now let's dive into the story, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ethan Carter had spent most of his life fading into the background. At 17 years old, he was overweight, standing at 5 feet 9 inches, with a round belly and thick arms that made him the subject of endless whispers, giggles, and cruel nicknames at school. But through all the mockery and stares, one person made his heart race every single time: Bella Johnson. Bella wasn't just popular, she was the most admired girl in school. With caramel brown skin, long wavy hair, and piercing blue eyes, she was the type of girl who never had to try too hard. She walked the halls of Eastbridge High with a natural confidence, her designer bags slung over her shoulder, her nails always perfectly manicured. Ethan knew girls like Bella never noticed guys like him, so when she stopped in front of his lunch table on a Thursday afternoon, he almost choked on his food. "Hey, Ethan," Bella purred, flashing that dazzling white smile. Ethan's fork froze mid-air. He had spent years admiring Bella from a distance, but never had she spoken to him. His brain screamed at him to say something, anything, but his throat was dry. Hey, he stuttered, his voice barely above a whisper. Bella twirled a strand of hair around her delicate fingers and leaned in slightly. "I'm having a party this Saturday at my house. You should come." Ethan felt his heart pound so hard he thought it would explode. Did she just invite him to her party? Him? He looked around, half expecting a camera crew to pop out and tell him this was a prank. But Bella's face remained unreadable, her lips still curled into that sweet smile. Yeah, sure, I'd love to," he blurted out, his palms sweaty with excitement. Bella grinned. "Great, see you at 8. Then just like that, she turned on her heel and walked away, leaving Ethan paralyzed in shock. The moment she was gone, Ryan Mitchell, his best friend, practically tackled him. "Dude, what just happened?" Ryan whispered, his dark eyes wide. "Bella Johnson invited you to her party?" Ethan nodded dumbly, still trying to process reality. Ryan grabbed his shoulders. "This is your chance. You have to go all out, man. You need to impress her." Ethan didn't need convincing. For the next 2 days, he planned for the party like it was his wedding day. He borrowed money from Ryan to buy Bella a beautiful necklace. He rented a luxury suit, one that made him feel almost handsome. He begged his uncle to let him borrow his sleek black Mercedes-Benz for the night. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, Bella saw something special in him. By Saturday night, Ethan stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the cuffs of his white button-up shirt, the black blazer hugging his broad shoulders. "You got this," he whispered to his reflection, He grabbed the necklace and the bouquet of roses, slid into the luxury car, and drove to Bella's house with his heart pounding in excitement. The moment he arrived, he felt his breath hitch. Bella's mansion was massive, glowing under golden lights, with expensive cars parked in the driveway. Music and laughter spilled out from inside. Ethan straightened his jacket, took a deep breath, and stepped through the front door. The living room was packed with students, their laughter echoing over the music. He spotted Bella near the grand staircase, standing in a stunning red dress, surrounded by a group of friends. She turned and saw him, her lips curled into a smirk. "Ethan, you made it!" Ethan smiled shyly, his confidence growing. He walked toward her and held out the necklace and roses. "For you," he said, his voice shaking slightly. Bella took the gifts and stared at them for a moment. Then, she turned to the crowd and clapped her hands loudly. "Everyone, listen up," she called. The room fell silent. Ethan blinked in confusion. Bella cleared her throat dramatically before looking at him with mock pity. "Ethan, did you really think I invited you here because I liked you?" The words hit Ethan like a slap to the face. His stomach twisted. The room erupted into laughter. "Oh my God, look at his face," someone cackled. "He really thought Bella liked him." Another voice snickered. Ethan felt his world crumble, and then the final blow came. Jake Reynolds, Bella's rich and arrogant boyfriend, stepped forward, grinning cruelly. "Did you really think Bella would ever date someone like you?" Jake sneered. "You don't belong here, man." Ethan's throat burned. He could feel the sting of tears, but he refused to let them fall. Bella's lips curled into a cruel smirk. "It was all a bet," she said sweetly, twirling the necklace between her fingers. "I wanted to see if I could make the ugliest guy in school fall for me." Ethan couldn't breathe. His hands shook. His knees felt weak. This can't be happening. This has to be a nightmare. But it wasn't. The laughter grew louder, harsher, echoing in his ears like a siren. He couldn't take it anymore. Without another word, Ethan turned and ran out of the house, pushing past the crowd, past the mocking faces, past the cruel whispers. He didn't stop until he was in his car, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white, his chest heaved, his heart pounded like a drum in his ears. And then finally, the tears came. He cried harder than he ever had before, but the pain wasn't just from the humiliation. It was from the betrayal, the heartbreak, the realization that no matter how much he tried, he would never be enough for people like Bella. As he sat in the darkness, rage began to replace the tears. He pulled out his phone and opened Instagram. His worst fear came true. There it was, a video of the entire humiliation. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. Ethan clenched his jaw. They wanted to laugh at him? Fine. But they wouldn't be laughing for long, because he had already made his decision. He was going to get his revenge. The weekend passed in a blur for Ethan Carter. He spent most of it locked in his room, refusing to eat, refusing to respond to messages, and refusing to even glance at social media. But it didn't matter. He already knew. By Monday morning, his humiliation had spread like wildfire. His name wasn't just a joke at East Bridge High, it had become an internet meme. Clips of his crushed expression played on TikTok. Screenshots of Bella's cruel smirk flooded Instagram. The hashtag #Ethan the Joke was even trending in their town. His shame felt suffocating. So, he did the only thing he could. He stopped showing up to school. For the first time in years, Ethan disappeared. His phone stayed off, his curtains closed, and his once hopeful dreams of fitting in shattered. His mother, Mrs. Carter, knocked on his door every day. "Ethan, sweetheart, talk to me." But he couldn't. What was there to say? That he had been made into a punchline? That he had been stupid enough to think Bella actually liked him? That he had given everything he had for a girl who only saw him as a joke? So, he stayed silent. His best friend, Ryan Mitchell, came by his house twice. "Bro, don't let them win," Ryan had pleaded through the door. "Come back to school. We'll get through this." Ethan ignored him. Nothing Ryan could say would change the fact that he was a walking humiliation. For 2 whole weeks, he barely left his room, only sneaking downstairs at night to grab food when everyone else was asleep. He had never felt so weak, so pathetic, so broken. And then the day came when he had no choice but to return. It was a Thursday morning when his mother finally lost patience. "Ethan, enough is enough. You're going back to school today, and that's final." She dragged him out of bed, forced him to shower, and shoved his backpack into his hands. "You can't hide forever," she said firmly. And deep down, Ethan knew she was right. But that didn't stop the dread from clawing at his chest as he stepped onto the school grounds. The moment he walked through the main hallway, it started. A burst of mocking whispers followed him like a shadow. Look who finally showed up. I wonder if he cried himself to sleep every night. He still thinks he's gonna find love, huh? He kept his head down, praying he could just survive the day. Then Bella's voice rang out from across the hall. Well, if it isn't my favorite loser." Laughter exploded around him. Ethan's stomach sank. Bella stood at the lockers, her arms crossed, looking at him like he was nothing more than an insect. Jake Reynolds stood beside her, smirking as he whispered something in her ear. Ethan clenched his fists, rage bubbling beneath his skin, but he forced himself to keep walking. But Bella wasn't finished. "Wait, guys!" she called loudly, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Something's different about Ethan." The hallway went silent. Ethan's heart pounded in his ears. Then Bella burst out laughing. "Oh, I see. He's wearing a mask. What, trying to hide from the cameras this time?" More laughter erupted. Ethan felt his face burn. He had thought the mask would help him blend in, but all it did was make him an even bigger target. And then Megan Scott, Bella's best friend, took it further. She stalked toward him with a cruel grin. "Let's see what he's hiding." Before Ethan could react, Megan's hand shot forward, grabbing at his mask. But then, something unexpected happened. A voice cut through the laughter. "Leave him alone!" The hallway went dead silent. Everyone turned to see Lucy Adams standing just a few feet away, her dark brown eyes burning with fury. Lucy, the quiet girl, the one who never got involved in drama, was defending Ethan. "Why do you enjoy making people miserable, Bella?" Lucy said, her voice trembling with anger. "Haven't you done enough?" Bella's smirk faded for the first time. Megan scoffed. "Oh, please, since when do you care about him?" Lucy stepped in front of Ethan, blocking him from their view. "I've always cared. Unlike you, I don't make my happiness from destroying others." Bella rolled her eyes. "Ugh, whatever. Have fun with the loser club." She turned on her heel, walking away with Megan and Jake, but not before whispering something to Megan that made them both giggle. Ethan stood frozen in shock. No one had ever stood up for him before. Lucy turned to him, offering a small, gentle smile. "Are you okay?" Ethan swallowed the lump in his throat. He nodded. "Why?" he asked hoarsely. "Why did you stand up for me?" Lucy shrugged. "Because you didn't deserve what happened to you. And because I know how it feels to be humiliated." Ethan frowned. "You do?" Lucy hesitated. "My mom, she works as a housekeeper, and she cleans Bella's house." Ethan blinked in shock. "Bella treats you badly too?" he asked. Lucy laughed bitterly. "Bella doesn't even acknowledge me. She pretends I don't exist just because my mom isn't rich." Ethan felt his anger toward Bella grow even stronger. For years he had idolized her, worshipped her beauty, but now he was seeing the real her, and it made his blood boil. Lucy shifted nervously. "I know it's hard, but Don't let them win, Ethan. Ethan was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Something inside him clicked. He had spent 2 weeks hiding, running, drowning in shame. But maybe it was time to fight back. Maybe it was time to show them they messed with the wrong guy. And for the first time since that horrible night, Ethan felt a spark of something dangerous inside him. Determination. Because if Bella thought she could get away with what she did, she had another thing coming. Ethan sat in his room that evening, staring at his reflection in the mirror. The hurt from Bella's humiliation still sat deep in his chest. But something had changed today. Lucy's words echoed in his mind. Don't let them win. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt something other than pain. He felt anger, not just at Bella, but at himself for letting her control his emotions. He had wasted too much time hiding when he should have been planning. He grabbed his phone, scrolling through his messages. A new one from Ryan popped up. Dude, you good? You disappeared after school. Ethan exhaled and typed back. I'm fine, I need to change things. Ryan responded instantly. Change how? Ethan hesitated. Then his lips curled into a small smirk. Just trust me. Bella's about to learn what it feels like to be humiliated. For the next few days, Ethan watched Bella closely. He didn't interact with her, didn't acknowledge her presence. Instead, he focused on gathering information, and what he found made him smile. Bella had a secret obsession. Noah Carter, a name Ethan knew all too well. Noah Carter was a rising singer, young, talented, and one of the most followed musicians in the country. Girls idolized him, and Bella was no exception. She had sent him dozens of messages, commented on every post, and even posted about how she wished she could meet him. And the best part? Noah Carter was Ethan's cousin. Ethan's smirk grew wider as an idea formed. What if Bella thought Noah was interested in her? What if she believed she had a chance with him? What if Ethan could make her the fool this time? The plan was simple, but first, he needed help. The next day, Ethan found Ryan in the cafeteria. I need you to help me set Bella up, Ethan said. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Set her up how? Ethan leaned in, lowering his voice. Bella is obsessed with Noah. She's been trying to get his attention for months. What if she thinks she finally did? Ryan's eyes widened. No way. You mean pretend to be Noah? Ethan nodded. Ryan let out a slow whistle. Damn, that's cold. I love it. That evening, Ethan called Noah. Cousin, I need a favor, Ethan said the moment Noah picked up. Noah laughed. You never call just to say hi, do you? This is serious, Ethan said. He quickly explained everything, how Bella had humiliated him, how she was obsessed with Noah, and how he wanted to teach her a lesson. Noah was silent for a moment, then he chuckled. You're really going all out for this, huh? She deserves worse, Ethan admitted. Noah hummed in thought. Fine, I'll play along. I won't talk to her directly, but I'll let you use my backup number to message her. Ethan grinned. Perfect. That night, Ethan sent Bella her first message from Noah Carter's official account. Hey, I've seen your comments. You seem interesting. Bella responded in less than a minute. OMG, is this really you? Ethan smirked. Yeah, keep it between us. Bella's excitement was instant. She gushed about how much she loved his music, how she had been dreaming of meeting him, how she never expected him to notice her. Ethan played along, keeping his responses smooth and charming, just the way Noah would talk. Within days, Bella was hooked. She believed every word. I've never met a girl like you before, Ethan texted. Bella's heart probably exploded at that moment. And then, Ethan set the final trap. There's a big school prom coming up, right? Bella couldn't contain her excitement. Yes, it's the biggest event of the year. I was thinking about going, but I need a date. Bella almost lost her mind. I'd love to go with you. OMG, this would be a dream come true. Ethan leaned back in his chair, satisfaction filling his chest. Bella had no idea. She thought she was about to become the queen of the night. She thought she was getting everything she ever wanted. But she was walking straight into the biggest humiliation of her life. The week leading up to prom was a whirlwind of excitement for Bella Johnson. She strutted through the school halls with an air of superiority, her head held high, her caramel brown skin glowing under the soft lights. For the first time in her life, she felt untouchable. She had secured the ultimate prize. She was going to prom with Noah Carter, the rising music star, the man every girl at Eastbridge High dreamed of meeting. The moment she received that text from him, she had practically screamed with joy. It didn't matter that she had to lie to her parents to get the money for the dress, or that she had secretly stolen and sold her mother's necklace to afford a luxury car rental for the event. None of it mattered, because by the end of prom night, she was going to be legendary. She could already imagine the scene. She'd arrive in the most glamorous dress, step out of the luxury car, and walk into the hall with Noah on her arm. The entire school would be watching. They would whisper in awe. Her ex-boyfriend Jake would choke on his jealousy, and as she and Noah danced under the golden lights, Bella would finally claim her throne as the most envied girl in school. She couldn't wait. She spent hours in front of the mirror, making sure her long, wavy black hair was perfect, adjusting her deep red silk gown, reapplying her lip gloss every 5 minutes. By the time her driver arrived, Bella stepped into the car feeling like a queen. The night was hers. When she arrived at the school, the prom was already in full swing. Laughter, music, and flashing lights filled the beautifully decorated hall, where students in elegant gowns and tuxedos danced in pairs, their faces glowing with excitement. Bella's heart pounded with anticipation as she checked her phone. A message from Noah lit up her screen. "I'm outside. Meet me at the back entrance." Bella grinned. She smoothed down her dress, took a deep breath, and stepped outside into the cool night air. Her pulse quickened as she spotted a tall figure standing near the parking lot, dressed in a long coat with a hood covering his face. She frowned slightly. Why is he covering his face? But she quickly brushed off the thought. Maybe he wanted to surprise everyone by making a dramatic entrance. She hurried over, her heels clicking against the pavement. "Noah?" she breathed, excitement lacing her voice. The figure slowly turned toward her. "Yeah, it's me," he said in a deep voice. Bella's heart fluttered. Even though she couldn't see his face under the hood, she was too blinded by her own excitement to question anything. "Are you ready?" she asked, slipping her arm through his. "Yeah," he replied, a hint of amusement in his tone. Bella felt unstoppable. They walked together toward the prom entrance, her chest swelling with pride as whispers filled the air around them. "Who is that? Wait, is that Noah Carter? Bella actually pulled this off?" Bella smirked, keeping her gaze forward. She could already feel the jealousy burning in the eyes of every girl in the room. As they stepped onto the dance floor, the DJ's voice boomed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest tonight. Bella Johnson's date, the one and only Noah Carter." The entire hall exploded with excitement. Phones flashed, cameras zoomed in. "Take off your hood, man! Let us see your face!" someone shouted. Bella turned to her date, her heart racing with pride. "This is your moment," she whispered. "Show them who you are." The figure nodded slowly. Then, in one swift movement, he lifted the hood off his face. Bella's smile froze. Her entire body turned cold. It wasn't Noah Carter standing beside her. It was a homeless old man. His teeth missing, his face sunken with wrinkles, his clothes filthy and covered in stains. The crowd gasped. Then a single burst of laughter rang out, followed by another and another. Within seconds, the entire hall erupted in laughter. Bella staggered back in horror, her chest heaving as the old man grinned toothlessly at her. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" he slurred, reaching out as if to take her hand. Bella shrieked, stumbling backward. "Oh my God! What the hell is this?" she screamed. Tears pricked her eyes as she spun around, searching for an escape, searching for an explanation. Then, her gaze locked onto someone across D room, Ethan Carter. He stood at the edge of the dance floor, leaning casually against the wall, a glass of juice in his hand, watching, smirking. Bella's breath hitched. It was him. This was his doing. He had set her up. Her chest tightened with realization. This was payback. She was the joke now. Jake Reynolds, her ex-boyfriend, was doubled over, laughing so hard he could barely breathe. Even Megan, her so-called best friend, was recording the moment, tears of laughter rolling down her cheeks. Bella's stomach churned violently. She had to get out of there. Without another word, she turned and ran, shoving through the crowd, her heels clicking frantically against the floor. But the laughter followed her, growing louder, crueler, merciless. She burst through the school doors, her vision blurred with tears, her heart hammering against her ribs. She barely noticed when she reached the parking lot, throwing herself into the luxury car she had rented for the night. Her hands shook violently as she gripped the steering wheel. The world spun around her. Her perfect night had turned into her worst nightmare. She had lost. And Ethan had won. Her humiliation was complete, but in her desperation to escape, she didn't notice the car speeding down the road toward her. The blinding headlights flashed in her vision. A deafening screech, a sickening crash. Then everything went black. Bella opened her eyes to the sharp scent of antiseptic and the distant beeping of machines. The fluorescent lights above her flickered as her blurry vision struggled to adjust. Her body felt sore, her head pounded, and when she tried to move, a sharp pain shot up her right arm. She was in a hospital bed. Her heart raced as the events of the night came crashing back to her. The prom, the laughter, the humiliation, the setup, the old man, the crash. Her breath hitched. She had crashed the luxury car she rented. Panic surged through her veins as she turned her head slightly, noticing her parents sitting near the window. Her father, Mr. Johnson, sat stiffly in his chair, his face unreadable, arms crossed over his chest. Her mother sat beside him, her eyes red and puffy, as though she had been crying for hours. Bella swallowed hard. She knew that look. Something was wrong. "Mom!" Her voice came out hoarse, barely above a whisper. Her mother glanced at her but said nothing. Her father was the one who finally spoke. "What were you thinking, Bella?" His voice was cold, sharp, and unforgiving. Bella's stomach twisted. "Dad, No," he cut her off, his voice rising slightly. "I don't want to hear any excuses. Do you have any idea what you've done?" Bella blinked, her mind spinning. I was just trying to get away. I didn't mean to." "You stole from us, Bella." She froze. Her heart stopped. "What?" Her father clenched his jaw. "You stole your mother's necklace and sold it. Don't even try to deny it. We know everything." Bella felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. Her mother let out a quiet sob, shaking her head. "How could you do this to us?" Bella's fingers clutched the hospital blanket, her hands trembling. I needed money for prom," she whispered. Her father let out a bitter laugh. "For prom? You destroyed your own future for a stupid party?" Tears filled Bella's eyes. "I didn't mean for things to get this bad," she croaked. Her father stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the tiled floor. "You're done, Bella. We're done. Pack your things when you're discharged. You're going to live with your grandmother in the village." Bella's blood ran cold. "Wait, what? No, you can't do this." Her mother wouldn't meet her gaze. Her father's expression didn't change. "You've embarrassed this family enough. You will not ruin us further." Bella shook her head violently. Dad, please, I'll fix this. Her father didn't even look at her as he turned toward the door. You already broke it, Bella. Then he walked out, leaving Bella alone with the weight of her mistakes. The day of Bella's discharge, she found her belongings packed in a single suitcase. No more expensive clothes, no more designer bags, no more luxury. As she stepped out of the hospital, her mother kissed her forehead, whispering, I love you, but this is for the best. Then, without another word, she was driven away, far from the world she once controlled, far from the life she had destroyed. The village was nothing like Eastbridge High. There were no fancy cars, no bright city lights, no designer stores. Bella now lived in a small house with cracked walls, where she had to fetch water every morning and help her grandmother cook with firewood. For the first time in her life, she felt helpless. She had gone from being the most popular girl in school to being nobody. She had no friends, no status, no power, and worst of all, she had to watch the world move on without her. Months passed, and Bella's once glowing skin lost its radiance. She had no expensive lotions, no perfect makeup, no luxury to hide behind. She spent her days doing chores, selling vegetables in the market, and listening to her grandmother's advice. At first, she resented everything. She hated the mosquitoes, the dusty roads, the lack of internet. She hated that she was forgotten. But as time went by, something changed. For the first time, she had to survive without privilege. For the first time, she realized what it meant to struggle. She no longer saw herself as a queen. She was just a girl who had lost everything. And it was all her fault. One afternoon, as she sat outside peeling yams, a familiar voice pulled her out of her thoughts. Bella? She turned sharply. Standing at the entrance of the compound was Ethan Carter. He looked different. He wasn't the chubby, nervous boy she once humiliated. He was taller, leaner, and more confident. His deep brown skin glowed under the sun, and his clothes were well-fitted, his sharp jawline prominent. Bella's heart clenched. She hadn't seen him since that night. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Ethan took a step closer, his expression unreadable. So, this is where you ended up. Bella's face burned with shame. She quickly looked away, her hands trembling. Why are you here? She whispered. Ethan let out a soft laugh. I was visiting some family. I heard about what happened to you. Bella felt her throat tighten. She didn't know what to say. Finally, she forced herself to meet his gaze. Are you here to laugh at me? Ethan's smile faded. He shook his head. I'm not you, Bella. His words hit her harder than any insult ever could. She swallowed hard. I deserve everything that happened to me, don't I? Ethan was silent for a moment. Then he sighed. Karma has a way of teaching lessons. Bella felt the sting of tears behind her eyes. I lost everything. Ethan nodded. I know. Bella looked at him, really looked at him, and saw what she never had before. This was the boy she had once mocked, humiliated, and crushed. But now he was the one standing tall, and she was the one who had fallen. For the first time in her life, Bella felt something she had never felt before: regret. And as Ethan turned to leave, she knew one thing for certain: she would never be the same again. Bella sat on the wooden stool outside her grandmother's house, staring at the dusty road ahead. It had been months since she had been sent away from the city, months since she had last seen her parents, her old friends, or even the inside of a luxury store. She had lost everything. The sun was setting, casting a soft golden hue over the village. She wiped her sweaty forehead and glanced down at her once manicured hands, now rough from hours of farm work. Her life had changed completely. There was no more expensive hair, no more glossy nails, no more designer outfits. She had learned how to fetch water from the stream, cook with firewood, sell goods in the market, and wake up before sunrise to tend to her grandmother's farm. Her softness had been replaced by strength. But more than anything, her arrogance had been replaced by humility. She had plenty of time to think during these months in the village, and no matter how much she tried to ignore it, one truth haunted her every day. She had done this to herself, no one else. She had been blinded by pride, consumed by vanity, and drunk on the power of popularity. She had destroyed her own life, and now she was paying for it. A soft sigh escaped her lips as she leaned back against the wooden wall. And then, as if fate had been waiting for the right moment, a familiar voice called her name. Bella. She froze. Slowly, she turned around. Standing at the entrance of her compound was Ethan Carter. He looked stronger than ever, his dark brown skin glowing under the evening sun, his broad shoulders squared with confidence, his fitted jeans and casual shirt complementing his tall frame. He looked like a man who had overcome his past. And Bella? She felt like a ghost of her former self. Her throat tightened. "You came back." Ethan nodded. "I wanted to see you one last time." Her chest ached. She wasn't sure why. Maybe because this was the first time someone from her old life had looked at her without pity. Or maybe because, for the first time, she didn't feel like she was above anyone. She swallowed hard. "I owe you an apology, Ethan." He raised an eyebrow. "For what?" She let out a bitter laugh. "For everything." Ethan said nothing, waiting for her to continue. Bella looked away, ashamed. "I was cruel to you. I humiliated you in front of everyone. I treated you like you were nothing because I thought I was better than you." She took a shaky breath. "But now I know what it feels like to lose everything, and I hate who I used to be." For a moment, there was silence. Then Ethan spoke. "You were right about one thing." Bella's heart clenched. "What?" He folded his arms, his gaze unwavering. "You don't deserve forgiveness." Her stomach twisted. But then he sighed. "But people don't get what they deserve. They get what they work for." Bella's breath hitched. "Ethan, He lifted a hand, stopping her. "You destroyed my self-worth once. I spent months feeling like I wasn't good enough." He paused, then his lips curled into a slight smirk. "But you did me a favor, Bella." She blinked, confused. "A favor?" He nodded. "If you hadn't humiliated me, I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have learned how to respect myself. I wouldn't have discovered that I was worth more than the opinions of people like you." His words stung, not because they were cruel, but because they were true. Ethan straightened his shoulders. "I didn't come here to see if you were suffering. I didn't come here to gloat. I came here to see if you'd learned something." Bella swallowed hard. "I have." For the first time, she spoke from her heart. "I know that popularity means nothing. I know that beauty fades. And I know that the way you treat people matters more than how expensive your dress is." Her voice cracked slightly. "I know what it feels like to be looked down on, to be mocked, to be made to feel worthless. And I regret every single thing I ever did to you, Ethan." He studied her for a long moment. Then he gave a slow nod. "Good." Bella frowned. "That's it?" He chuckled. "What else do you want?" She opened her mouth but quickly closed it. Maybe. She had expected him to forgive her immediately. Maybe she had hoped for a second chance at redemption. But she understood now. Some wounds don't heal overnight. And some people don't owe you closure. Ethan stepped back. "Take care, Bella." She watched as he turned, walking toward the dirt road. And as she sat there, alone with her thoughts, she realized something. Ethan had moved on. He had forgiven himself. And now it was her turn to do the same. Treat people with kindness because tables turn. Popularity and beauty fade, but character lasts. Karma always finds its way back. Success is the best revenge. Grow beyond those who wronged you. Apologies don't erase consequences. True change does. Hard times shape stronger people. Pride leads to downfall. Humility leads to growth. Respect is earned, not demanded. And so, Bella's story ended in reflection, not in victory. She had lost everything. But in losing everything, she finally found herself. Don't forget to give us a thumb up if you enjoyed this story. Like, drop a lovely comment and subscribe.